Have you ever been in a really tense situation, maybe a big argument, and there's that one person who just goes quiet? They don't yell back, they don't freak out, they just stop. And it's so easy to look at that and think, wow, they're so cold, or maybe even that they're weak. But what if I told you that's not it at all? What if that silence is actually a massive show of strength? Yeah, let's get into that because what looks like coldness might just be incredible control.
So yeah, that's what we're going to dig into. This whole idea that calm equals cold. Is that person really unfeeling? Or are they doing something, I don't know, way more sophisticated that we're just not seeing?
Okay, I want you to do something for me. Picture someone you know who's like this. The person who's just unflappable. When everything's hitting the fan, they're the calm in the storm. Got 'em? Now, what was your first thought about them? Seriously, did you think they just didn't care enough to get upset? Or did you get a vibe that there was something more going on there? Just hold that person in your mind as we go through this. And this is exactly where our brains kind of trick us. Look at this. On one side, you've got what we actually see. Someone being calm, quiet, taking a beat before they react. Pretty straightforward, right? But then, look at the other side. That's where our assumptions kick in. Our brain makes this lightning-fast leap and decides, oh, they must be cold, or weak, or they just checked out. And that snap judgment, that's almost always where the story goes wrong.
Because the real story is so much cooler. It's not that they lack a reaction, it's that they are actively choosing their reaction. This is what we're going to call the pause. And you got to understand, this isn't some glitch in their personality. No way. It's a feature, like a top-tier upgrade.
Now, if you want to get all scientific about it, there's a name for this superpower. It's called cognitive inhibition. It's basically the brain's ability to just slam on the brakes. Right when that first wave of emotion, that anger, that panic hits, it's the power to stop it before it turns into an action. It doesn't mean you don't feel it. Oh, you feel it. It just creates this little pocket of time, a buffer between the feeling and the doing.
And this quote, man, this just nails it. The space between stimulus and response. That little gap. It might only be a second, maybe less. That space is where all your power is. It's everything. It's the difference between being a puppet of your emotions and being the one pulling the strings. In that tiny little moment, you get to decide.
So, okay, how does this actually happen? Like, what's going on in your head when you do this? It's not some kind of magic trick. It's pure brain science. It's kind of like your brain has a gear shift. And once you know how it works, you can learn to use it.
Right. So the easiest way to think about it is this. You've got two different operating systems in your brain. There's the hot system, that's your ancient, emotional lizard brain. It's all about impulse, fight, flight, freeze, super fast, super emotional. But then you've got the cool system. That's your modern, sophisticated prefrontal cortex. It's the part that thinks about consequences, logic, and the big picture. The pause is literally the act of hitting a switch and shifting power from the hot brain to the cool brain.
Let's break it down step by step. So first, you get the trigger. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, says something nasty. Instantly, your hot brain is screaming, go, right? But then, bam, step two, the pause. That cognitive inhibition thing we talked about, it flips a switch like a circuit breaker. That leads to step three, the shift. Power gets rerouted from the emotional, reactive part of your brain to the calm, logical prefrontal cortex. And then, and only then, do you get to step four, the response. And now it's not a mindless reaction. It's a conscious choice.
And I really need to stress this because it's super important. This is not about bottling up your emotions or pretending you don't feel anything. No, you feel the anger, you feel the fear, you feel all of it. The difference is the emotion isn't driving the car anymore. You're in the driver's seat. It's like having a master volume knob for your emotions instead of just letting them blast at full volume all the time.
Okay, so why does any of this matter? Well, because learning to use that switch, to master that pause, it changes everything. Let's look at what actually happens in your life when you start doing this.
I mean, look at the benefits here. For starters, your decision-making gets way clearer because you're actually thinking instead of just reacting. You dodge so many pointless arguments just by not throwing that verbal punch back. You end up saving relationships because you don't say that one awful thing in the heat of the moment that you can never, ever take back. And oh man, you cut down on so much regret, that feeling of, why did I say that? And of course, the big one. You're the person who keeps their head when everyone around you is losing theirs. That's huge.
And the contrast is it's night and day. Think about it. Without that pause, you get an impulsive comeback, you hurt someone, you damage trust, and you're left feeling terrible later. But with the pause, that same exact situation leads to a thoughtful response, you keep the respect, you solve the problem, and you walk away with a way better outcome. It's like choosing between two completely different timelines for your life.
So let's wrap this up. The whole point here is to completely flip the script on how we think about calmness. It's not weakness. It's not emptiness. It's an action. It's a skill. Honestly, it's a silent superpower.
So from now on, when you see someone go quiet and calm in the middle of chaos, I want you to see it differently. Don't think weak. Think strong. See it for what it is, incredible emotional control. They aren't feeling less than everyone else. They're just managing it a whole lot better. Which brings it all back to you. The next time something happens, the next trigger, remember that little space. That tiny moment is a choice between a knee-jerk reaction and a thoughtful response. So, what are you going to choose?